Okay, I'm Corey. For those of you who don't know me, or Edger 9000 in Creatorland, I'm one of the co-founders of PiN and the chairman of our board. A little bit of background: when we originally started PiN, it was because as creators we saw some pretty gaping holes and problems in the industry, and there wasn't really any solutions for those problems, and they were becoming more of a deal with it, as a hazard of the job type of thing. And we weren't okay with that. We're not okay with that. So before we actually got anything started, we did a poll with a bunch of creators, and we grabbed, some of the biggest pain points that they had in the industry. This was, in some ways, really eye-opening, and in other ways, not at all. It was a great deal that we were experiencing ourselves. So was everybody else, and we polled over 100 people. The biggest things that creators struggle with was meeting other creators, because as you probably know, it's not like the studio world where, when you're working with a studio, they vet both people, they put you together in a safe place, and you do your work. It's not like that. As a creator, there is a lot higher risk. You're meeting people who you probably or may have never met before. The risk level is steep, and there isn't really any way to know who you're working with is trustworthy or not, other than word of mouth. Uh, that's where PiN originally came from. That's where we started. That is our lifeblood, so to speak. From that, we came up with TrustLink. TrustLink is just a module that we offer at no charge. If you know anything about us, you know that this is the founding pillar of everything that we are. Trust equals transparency, and transparency equals trust. Well, what does that mean? Trust and transparency feed each other. The more we trust, the more transparent we can be, and the more transparent we are, the more trust we build. So when we say transparency equals trust and trust equals transparency, this isn't just a slogan. It's a principle. We believe that real safety and real community are built together on this principle. Now, coming up with TrustLink, this, led us to the next question. Well, how do you be transparent online while still protecting your privacy, protecting your personal information, not disclosing too much? How exactly do you pull that off? What happens when you actually design for trust and transparency in the real world, where the risks are real, the stakes are high, and your personal safety matters? This is where TrustLink was born from. Now, what is it? First of all, the website is in the description. It's also right at the beginning of this video, so you can feel free to go and take a look around it yourself. As I said, it is free, but this is basically how we're accomplishing these goals while protecting privacy at the same time. There's a lot of places that have profiles where you just give out your profile, they look at it, but it doesn't really tell you anything, or it tells too much. This was our answer to that. So you share codes with who you want to share codes with. If you're, about to work with someone, you can send them this code. They can load it up and look at it online. They can see your TrustLink profile and then decide from there on what they want to do. Now, this code is generated on demand by you. You can send it as a text message. You can copy paste it, email it. You can use the QR code, whatever works best. Now, the kicker behind these is that they only have a 10-minute lifetime once they are opened. So you can generate a code and you can hold on to it forever, and as long as it's never opened, the timer won't start. That being said, they do have a hard limit on them too, where even if they aren't used, they will expire eventually anyways, but it's a longer period of time, quite a bit longer. But you give this code to someone as soon as they go to load up your profile, and you can do this from inside the system once you're logged in. You can also do it from our public website. It's wide open. You just put in the code. the first thing it's going to tell you is a warning. If you proceed, the timer will start. Once 10 minutes is up, this profile will no longer be available. They get wiped out after 10 minutes. Now, the other part of the question is, well, what are you showing them? What do we show them? What am I supposed to show them? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Whatever you want. We take privacy and personal information, the protection of personal information, very seriously. It's a big problem in the world right now. And it's only getting worse. That I'm sure you've heard that old saying where if the product is free, it's because you are the product. That's something we took to heart. It's also something that, on a personal note, terrifies me. So all of your personal information is very heavily guarded. We only store the very basic that we need to be compliant. And that motto goes forward into TrustLink as well. You decide what to show, you decide what not to show, and it's completely up to you. This is what the TrustLink profile looks like when you load it up. This is just a fake one that I made up. Ignore the photos and such. They're just stock photos. Obviously, that's not what I look like. But here you can see verification. Now, anywhere that you see that check mark, it means it is verified. So here you can see that their age and identity have been verified. They are a real person. This is part of the onboarding process that everybody goes through, making sure that you are over 18 and that you are who you say you are. That shows here as a check mark and verified. Now over here you'll see age 18 plus. This shows in the event that you opt to not show your actual birthday or your age. Sorry, your birth date is never shown. It's not even an option to show. It's basically you can show your age as a number, or if you choose not to show your age, then this is what you see instead: age 18 and verified. This is the default, age 18 verified. If you do want to show your age, that's something you have to opt into. Now here on the social media side, the permissions here, like I said, are very granular, down to the point where you can show specific photos on your TrustLink profile and not show others. You can show specific social media accounts, but not show others. Now, when you show one, if you see here, this pink check mark, this shows that it's in a verified account, which means this user has logged in with Twitter, proving that they own it. Once you log in with it, next to it, you'll see the follower count there. That is automatically updated by the system once you're logged in. Now, the Instagram underneath, currently we don't have the ability to log in with Instagram, but if it's a manually entered profile, in this case, like Instagram, it hasn't been verified as actually being used, so there is no check mark. In that event, the followers, you can put them in there. You can write the followers in, just how much you want to show. Gallery, you can opt to show all or show none or show individual photos. By default, it will show your photos that you have listed as public. You can opt out of all of them or individuals, whichever. Now, here, this is his display name. So anywhere in our system, if you put a display name in your profile, that display name overwrites your real name everywhere in the system. So nobody will see your real name ever, as long as you have a display name in there. Now, TrustLink is the exception to this. TrustLink is not hard-coded to do that. It does it by default. So if you have a display name, it will default to show your display name in your TrustLink profile. But you can opt in to show your real name too, if you want. But again, the default is your display name. You can choose to show your real name if you choose. Now, this section here is for additional verifications, anything over and above that we add on in the future, or anything that you opt into. For For example, one of the things that we're currently working on is the ability to do background checks. Again, completely opt-in, voluntary, not required. If you choose to do it, you can submit them. When they come back, they will show up as, passing a background check here in this little section. It does not show your background check. This was a caveat when we found a partner to provide background checks for us. Was like I said, we're really picky when it comes to personal information. And one of the main caveats when we chose a partner was that we don't want to know the details of the background check. That's personal. It is not relevant to us. We have no need to know the details. What we do need to know is the person on any registered offender lists? Do they have any relevant criminal records? So apart from a yes or a no or a pass or a fail, we didn't want to know any details. And that is how the integration will work once it's live. It's not live yet. Now, TrustLink itself, and in the next little bit here, I'll talk more about it, but TrustLink itself and all of its functionality is free. There may be a cost to some voluntary opt-in things if you want to use them in the future, but that'll be on a case-by-case basis, just depending on whether or not there's a cost for us to provide the service or not. In the case of a background check, when it is live, if anybody opts into it, there probably will be a cost to it because there's a cost to us to perform it on your behalf. So, but that's something, we'll talk more about in the future. But if that happens, that's where it would show, is right there in that box. Now, again, we talked about this already, price model. There isn't one. It's free. There's no hidden costs. There's no paywalls. There's no different service levels. The whole point of TrustLink is we want to make the industry safer. We want to make it more comfortable to meet people. And we fundamentally believe that you can't do that if the tools that you provide for safety are paid tools, because then you end up, what it comes down to is safety is something that you only get if you can afford it. And I'm not okay with that. We aren't okay with that. So TrustLink is free. You don't need to be a member to use it. There is no cost to get it. You just sign up and you can use it. Caveat in the bottom, like I said earlier, TrustLink itself and all of its core is free. Any additional voluntary stuff, if there is a cost associated with it, then you would have to pay for that. But again, it's not required and it's totally opt-in. So in a nutshell, that is TrustLink. I welcome your feedback. We would love to hear more about it. This is something that is a big deal for us and will be continuously improved upon as we move forward, and your feedback is invaluable in that regard. So absolutely send me an email, send me a message, leave a comment. I'd love to hear more about what you guys think and how we can make it better. Thanks again. Take her easy.